The hotel was a tall and thin building, a fairly modern-looking one, but with some old stone touches to blend into the London environment. Passing through the glass doors into the front lobby, I was met with a gentle warmth that wiped away the January gloom. Yes, that would be the central heating. Marble floors gleamed underfoot, reflecting the chandeliers above, and the decorative plants appeared to be alive, not plastic. They definitely look like plants, you're right. A pretty but very bored-looking woman was manning the receptionist's desk. I approached her. "Hello, welcome to the Nightingale Hotel. Do you have a reservation?" Now, that is an incredibly sultry way to be addressing what I think is the morning. You must have frozen whilst getting here. Getting here. I'm here to work as a maid. I'm from the one hospital. Hospital. Ugh, if I keep fucking up the way I'm saying things, I'll soon be in the hospital. Hostel. I'm Ogu Pegu. Oh, you. She reached under the desk and pulled out a piece of paper. Yeah, you're going to be on shift with Angie, cleaning the upper 6 floors of the hotel today. That's 240 odd rooms, so work quickly. You need to get everything done by the time your shift ends or you'll be in trouble. I don't even know how to clean the rooms. Is that my problem? She looked at me with disdain. I mean, you're a hotel receptionist. Like, surely you can help other people out with not great jobs. And by not great, I mean, you know, not something which is outside of a manager position. It's not a dig. But, like, you'd think she'd be more understanding. I guess not. You spoiled Yanks think you deserve everything handed to you. No. I'm asking how to do my job. That's not how that works at all. You'll finish your shift in the presidential suite. That one requires a special key that's kept in the front desk, so you'll need to come get me. The only other person who has access to that suite is the hotel owner. Make sure you come get me before your shift is over, or I'll be livid. I don't like waiting for other people to finish their work just so I can leave. Her glare swept up and down my body like a targeting laser. Well, aren't you going to get going? But to where? The employee room is in the back. Change into your uniform and find Angie. Jeez. At this rate, I should be paid for doing your job. No, I've never been here, and I arrived yesterday. After, like, a, 7-hour flight? Forgive me for, you know, being slightly apprehensive and not quite entirely sure of where everything is, especially, you know, the employee room. Wow, what a bitch. Disgruntled, I followed her outstretched finger to a closet behind the front desk. There was an employee's lounge, a few offices, and a small locker room. I changed clothes in there and came outside. Oh, fair enough. I always figured that... I figured it was going to be like a broom closet or something. Angelo was there waiting for me. There you are, it's about time. Come on, let's go. Angelo grabbed a cart next to him and nodded his head to a giant basket. Take that, it's for laundry. I'll get this one, it's heavier. Thank you, that's kind of you, Angie. That is not my name. Sorry, that's what the lady at the desk called you. Oh yes, and she was such a paragon and love of sunshine. Like... if she called Angelo twat, would you also call him twat, thinking it's affectionate? Like, come on now. Ah, see, that one. A word of warning, do not trust her. Oh, thanks for pushing the cart. Whatever, you're too weak to handle something like this without getting tired. That was a little rude. I followed him into the elevator and he punched the number 6, then we were going up. So, what exactly do we do in this job? Right. I don't know how to tell you this. Don't ask stupid questions if you don't want stupid answers. What do we do in this job? You fucking clean! We clean things! Okay, at least he didn't answer too sarcastically. I'll show you how to do it, but after that you'll be the one making the beds and dusting and stuff. I will? Why? I don't do women's work. I pick up the dirty towels and clean the bathroom and vacuum, right? I mean, actually clean the sheets, though. That's your job. I think it's pretty fair. Man, people campaign against people like you. You know that, right? I bristled. What are you talking about women's work? Do you still live in the Dark Ages? I didn't know men like you still existed. He frowned at me. What's wrong with it? That's just the way things are. You've got delicate hands, you know. You shouldn't be expected to do the same things that I do. What? The elevator pinged, disgorging us into a brightly lit hallway. Okay, see, I do understand if... Hey, you need to pick up this thing which is 80 kilos. Like, £170. I can understand that you'd rather the sort of brisk mail go pick that up, right? I can understand that. But stuff like cleaning the sheets and vacuuming, man, fuck off. A few guests were standing before the door. We shut our mouths and pushed through to the first room. Right, so what we do is, he hammered on the door 3 times. Maid service! Give him the second to respond, or put on clothes, you never know. Okay, let's go in. I have had that happen. Someone just fucking waltz in, and I was... basically definitely knock all the time. It's an awful idea to just open. The room was completely empty, but incredibly spacious. 2 queen-sized beds, a television, a desk, a table, and several chairs, a dresser, nightstands, refrigerator, sink, microwave. Was this a hotel or an apartment? It certainly put my hostel room to shame. I also think that they're paying a lot more than you're paying for your hostel room. I shook my head. Angelo pushed the cart in and handed me a rag and a squirt bottle. Never squirt directly into the furniture, only into the rag. Get every surface where people would leave fingerprints or dust, but try not to move any of the guest things except for what's on the bed. I followed him through the room, watching him work, then he showed me how to achieve a streak-free shine on the mirrors, and how to achieve a perfectly crisp bed. Do we not change the sheets? Do you know how much water this place would use up if we washed the linens every day? If you see something obviously dirty, put it in the cart, otherwise make the bed and move on. What about between guests? Same routine. This place is pretty fancy, so we can get away with it. People don't expect a place like this to be dirty, so they don't look for it. Are you sure about that? I definitely know a few people who would nitpick enough to go through and look through rooms to make sure everything is clean. They're gonna lift up lamps to make sure that it's not hiding stains. We wash the sheets every few weeks at a minimum anyways. Ew. Wait, when was the last time my sheets were washed in the hostel? Don't ask! It's better if you don't know. I'm washing them as soon as I get home. Angelo finished up that room and starting on the next I began to clean. What are you doing? You left a spot here. You call that bed crisp? It looks like a child made it. Can't you do any better than this? You're hardly making this fair for me. Every room we went into, every room we passed, he found something to berate me for. I mean, you are being paid to do a job. You should probably do it well. I don't actually know whether we're doing a poor job or not, but something makes me think that we are probably doing it badly. I told you not to move the guests' things. Even when guests were still in the room, he found ways to insult me with his glares and annoyed faces. I wanted, more than anything, to blow up at him, but I held my tongue. But there was no point to it. I was going to have to work with him, and I didn't want to get written up for a bad attitude on my first day. According to James, it would reflect badly on the hostel. If he lost his contact, I'd be out of a job and a home. Exactly! Even if everyone is a dick, you just need to learn how to not make them be a dick, or stay the fuck out of their way, one of the two. No matter how much of an asshole Angelo was, I just had to deal with him. There you go, that's the spirit! Don't cause a fight in front of guests. Trust me, it's a lot harder to get blood out of bed sheets than it is dirt. Finally, several hours later, we finished off the last of the regular rooms. Right, why don't you run down and get the presidential key from Massey? Me? Why me? Really? I've been pushing around this heavy cart all day. You can't just ride an elevator down a few floors. I glared at him, but headed back down to the main lobby. He does have a point! He did do that, even though you didn't ask him to. It's getting an elevator down a few floors. I'm sure you'll live. However, when I got to the front desk, Assy was nowhere to be found. There was a single disgruntled guest waiting by it, and he accosted me as soon as I walked up. I did my best to give him directions to a restaurant. Really, I just pointed him in a random direction. But this is a city. Surely there'd be food anywhere he went. I mean, yes and no. If he's asking for a specific restaurant, if he's like, I want the finest Italian food, and you send him to Chinatown, then I can't think he's going to be too happy. Finally, out of desperation, I went to knock on the door of the owner's office. Hopefully someone would be in. Excuse me? Yes, who are you? Oh my god, it's an actual old person. An actual old person. A real one. Ah, yes, who are you? A visual novel. An old person, I can't believe this. I'm Ogu Pigu. I'm a new employee here. I need to get into the presidential suite, and I couldn't find Assy to give me the key. She must be helping a guest with something. Fine, I'll go up and unlock the room for you. It'll be nice to get out of this office anyways. Oh, this person seems nice. That's probably the... In before we get into the room, she's like, right, This whole room's terrible! 10 whippings for you each! Takes off her belt. I can see... Nah, it's fine. She'll be a lovely old woman. Together, the hotel owner and I rode up to the top floor and met Angelo, his foot tapping impatiently. There you... Oh, my apologies, Mum. Don't worry, no inspection today. I'll get out of your hair after this. The boss stuck the key card into the door and opened it up. There, now it's all right. There was just one problem, we'd forgotten to knock. Oh dear, as the door swung open, we were given a grand view of the room's king-size bed and the 2 people on top of it. Oh. Oh. Did someone say... fired? I think someone said fired. I'm almost certain that someone said you're no longer in the job. Oh my god! Assie, what are you doing with... The hotel owner glanced between her and the hotel guest who were completely locked in embrace on the bed. Luckily, they weren't completely naked. I think I was trying very, very hard not to look. Well, they're not naked, I can give you that much. Assie. Well, it's definitely not what you think, ma'am. There is a... I believe this is something we should discuss in my office. If you don't mind, I apologize for the disturbance. We'll get out of your hair right away. If you would like to have your room serviced, the staff here can clean it now and be on their way. The guest nodded dumbly, and the owner left the room and to wait in the hallway. As Assie got out of bed and surreptitiously straightened her clothes, she glared at me. I told you not to go up into this room without me, didn't I? I told you to come and get me, not the boss, didn't I? Okay, you are a hotel receptionist. You can literally fuck off. You're not above me. Can you not comprehend simple orders at all, or did you think I was just joking around with you? It didn't seem like... Oh, I wasn't serious for you. You didn't take my warning seriously. How was I supposed to know it was a warning when every word out of your mouth sounds like a threat? She headed out of the room, but she stopped as she drew level with me. I swear to God I will make you pay for this. But without another word, she left the room. The guest looked from me to Angelo, face pale as marshmallows. Please, sir, don't worry about it. It's just a minor employee feud that will be handled by HR. Angelo stepped in to save me, as I was far too shaken to respond. We'll just get to work cleaning, won't we, Oggy Piggy? I nodded, my mouth dry. I think that bed is going to need some cleaning. The room was larger than the rest and took us slightly longer to clean. By the time we were done, my heart was racing a little less. Angelo pushed both his and my cart out of the room, then looked at me. That was a little worrisome. I'm just... To my horror, tears filled my eyes. First, Angelo berated me the entire day, and then I got into hot water with Assie. You know those people. Okay, good. Why get better at anything ever, or learn how to take responsibility, or deal with something, when you can just cry openly? See? Little tip for you guys there. Who needs responsibility when you can just cry? It's much better that way. Angelo frowned, then approached me. What? He swept me up into a grand hug and I stiffened, completely confused. There, it'll all be fine. Don't worry about it, okay? She won't actually do anything. Assie's all talk, no fight. Once I left something out in the kitchen and she ate it and got sick. She hollered until the goats came home, but never did anything about it. In the kitchen? Wait, she lives at the hostel with us? He pulled away from me and raised an eyebrow. Yeah, did she not say this? Oh, God, I guess I must have forgot. Don't worry, I won't let that bother you. You didn't do anything wrong anyways. Just try to put it out of your head. If anything happens, just holler for me and I'll come get you. He grinned and my heart skipped a beat. Why is he suddenly so nice? What happened to the jerk who bossed me around all day? Because you weren't doing a proper job! That's why! You were fucking up cleaning! After a week, you'll probably be fine! You don't want, like, 10 complaints and be out of the job because you're not cleaning rooms properly. He's helping you! Anyways, let's go. You have to do all that laundry before we can get off this shift. Oh, there he was. We finished our work in the basement of the hotel. By the time we came back to the lobby, Assie was once again at the receptionist desk, helping guests with a bright smile on her face. It was almost as if nothing had happened. Oh, wait until they leave. She will glare at you. See, she didn't get fired. No harm, no foul. As we passed to the exit, however, she glowered at me. Well, maybe not. Let's go home, it's late. Tomorrow's the first day of classes, you need your rest. Oh, right. Somehow I had to take control of events and stop letting everything just happen to me. Well, I worked my first shift and made my first enemy, but regardless of what happened today, this was still my trip. It was up to me to make the most of it, both good and bad. I could let people get to me like I usually did, or I could stand up on my own 2 feet and push through somehow. And your first action of pushing through and standing up for yourself and being an adult was crying! It's not going to go well. It was all up to me. And what I wanted to do most right now was... Let's call them, am I right? The time difference between London and New York was about 5 hours. No, it's not about 5 hours, it is 5 hours. So it'd be afternoon back home. Danae probably wouldn't be home, but Jinsu might be in. I only have a very small phone card for international calls. I'd have to buy more minutes later when I got paid. But at least I could say hello. I just dropped my cricket ball. It took a minute to figure out how to dial a US number from here, but eventually it rang. Okay, Piggy, is that you? Hey, how's England so far? Wonderfully shit. Good and bad. Hang on, is that... That's not the London Eye in the background, is it? I've only just realised. I'm gonna go with no, because that would make this room worth an absolute bomb. Good and bad. Set your sights on any cute girls yet? They can help laughing. I really don't think I'm into girls. I mean... maybe it's a bit early. I could talk to one of these people and they could be utter twats. I've barely been here 24 hours. Well, keep your eyes open, you never know. We chatted briefly about what I'd seen in London so far, and then he bid me a good night. I needed my rest. My semester was only just beginning. You see that little chibi art of her doing that on the bed? That is literally saving nothing. Whatever. The walk back from the university was truly lovely. London was a big city, just like NYC. There were green places here and there for everyone to enjoy. There are green places in London? Man, I must have missed that outside of the big park. I have no idea where we are. See this in the background? It's fucking Dracula's castle over here, my god. A full course load for British students would normally be 3 courses or modules in a semester. Because of the special working arrangements with the program I was signed up for, I was only taking 2. That way I could be sure to have enough study time to keep my grades up. If I fell behind, my student visa would be cancelled and I would be sent home. Not every course was valid for credit back in the US, since some were too specific to the British legal or financial structure. But most of the time, education was education. Well, it's a good thing you've decided to... Unless you plan to live here, I don't possibly see what the point is. Did she say what she was doing? I can't remember. Was this something really horrible and dull? Probably. In any case, I had 1 course in technology and 1 in literature. Oh, there you go. I mean, it's a good thing we don't take economy then. Like, someday soon I would need to be acquainted with the university library. But for now, I needed to get on to work. After a hard day's work, finally, it was dinner time. Oh, I can't wait to see what monstrosity they've cooked. Hey, it's spaghetti! We've only slightly burnt it. The hostel had a dining area where everyone could eat next to the kitchen. At least that table isn't too bad. It's not as bad as the kitchen. People could order in or could gather together to eat a group meal. With that in mind, I crept into the kitchen, hoping to find something simple I could make. When I entered, I discovered Angelo, Peggy, and Ashley were sitting around the larger table, each taking something from a platter of vegetables and noodles. Another guy I hadn't met before was also here. That must be Mark, the one Danny said was cute. Okay, Hawkwind it is. Jesus. I really hope you like it. I worked hard on it. It's free food. I definitely like it. You'll make a good wife, Ashley. What a thing to say to someone. Huh, you think so? Ah, the cheap eyeshadow. Ashley flushed as Angelo laughed heartily. You belong in the Stone Age, Angelo. What? It was a compliment. She's not mad about it. Just because someone you know is okay with it does not make it good at whole. That's besides the point. And that set them both off, shouting insults back and forth. Mark, sitting nearby, watched with wide eyes. I tried to figure out a way to casually approach and join the group, but I wasn't sure what to do. It'd probably look bad if I just walked up and asked to eat some of their food, especially since I didn't help make it. Maybe it would be better to come back later and take a peek in the fridge. I started out of the kitchen, but before I could make it out of the door, I locked eyes with Ashley. Oh, Oggy Pigu! Yeah, that's the clever thing to do. See, she's the chef. She can be the one to invite you to eat food. She knows exactly what she's doing. Are you hungry? I made stir-fry if you want some. I'm sure there's plenty for us all. Really? Are you okay with that? Of course! Despite Ashley's assurances, I glanced at the others. Peggy and Angela were still at each other's throats, but Mark offered me a smile and gestured to the seat next to him. I sat down nervously. Thank you, it looks really good. Ashley got a plate and spooned food onto it while Mark got me a glass of water. Just can't comprehend that your way of life is totally... Maybe if you calm down a little, it wouldn't be so... Don't mind them, they've been at it all day. You'd think someone would sort of try and take them aside and learn how to not be so shit with their differences. You'd think. Obviously that's not going to happen. Really? Yeah, it's a bit rough, but I'm sure they both mean well. It's interesting to see people with such dynamic opinions. And you guys aren't going to stop them? I don't want to get involved. I don't like to fight with anyone. I glanced at Mark, who shrugged. Everything ends one way or another. I mean, these kinds of things are interesting to discuss, but as long as it's not directly affecting me, it doesn't have any meaning. What did that mean? There was an odd tension in the air. A few seconds later, I realized Peggy had stopped arguing with Angela and was instead staring at Mark. How can you say that you don't care about anything that doesn't affect you personally? Does that mean if you saw someone in pain, you wouldn't do anything to help them because it wasn't you who was hurting? It's wildly different. Wildly different scenario you've just given him. Oh, no, that's not what I meant. I just meant that if how someone else is behaving isn't causing direct harm, or if it's just a theoretical concept that isn't harming anyone in practice that I can see, I won't bother with it. But theoretical concepts can harm people, I suppose. Well, Mark seemed to consider Peggy's point of view for a few moments and then shrugged. I can't really be bothered. Right, okay. Got it. It's not necessarily that he has some sort of complex opinion. He just can't be asked. He's too busy looking... well, doing his hair every day. That's not going to take a short amount of time. Ugh. Peggy stood and grabbed her half-full plate. I can't stand people like you. She marched off in a huff. Angelo chuckled as he watched her go. Thanks for having my back, man. Angelo held out his hand for a high five. Mark looked at it with interest. Your palm is quite nice, but I wasn't doing it for you. Yeah, I don't think he's taking sides. I just don't think he can be asked generally. Eh? It does seem pointless, don't you think? What? I mean, everyone dies, life is short. So I don't think you should argue so much. It's a waste of time. Angelo grunted and went back to his food. Well, Mark, since you're new here, how do you like it? It's very nice. Everyone is very friendly. Clearly you haven't been talking to people properly. Oh, that's sweet, don't you think, Angelo? Angelo grunted again. He didn't seem particularly interested in the conversation anymore. Well, anyways, what brought you here, Mark? Mark frowned. Exploration. Oh, that's nice. Are you at uni, or did your family send you here? I think that's important enough to spend time talking about. He tilted his head to the side and smiled. I don't like people prying into my past, if you don't mind. We're not prying, we're asking. It's called making small talk and finding more about you. If you can't be asked to, talk to anyone or get to know anyone, then just say so. I set my fork down, surprised. Did Mark want everybody to hate him, or was he seriously just accidentally pissing everybody off? Ashley, her cheeks gone pale from nerves, anxiety, anger, probably all of those, nodded and picked up her plate. I'm going to clean up now. It was nice meeting with you. Yes, I agree, and thank you so much for the food and conversation. I hope we can do this again. Ashley shot him a puzzled glance. Angelo stood up and handed his plate to Ashley, then lumbered out of the room. We're just going to let her clean up after she cooked for us. Great. With nobody else left, Mark turned to me. So what brings you here? He seemed almost cheerful, as if completely aware of what he'd just done. And that question as well. We just asked him that and he said, oh, sorry, I don't like people talking about my past. Someone else's, however. Did you not notice what just happened there? What do you mean? Right, I will solve this by myself next episode and choose the part there. I've just realised, like, we're 25 minutes into this. So, I think I'm probably gonna, be honest with him, because you never lie in a visual novel. But it'll help him reform. That's what I'm telling myself to make myself feel better. Well, that's almost certainly not going to be the case, and he's just going to say, "Huh, no, I didn't notice." I mean, he has to be French. Look at him.